Good evening. Welcome to the City of Beavercreek's March Parks, Recreation, and Culture Park Board meeting. Jackie, can you go ahead and do roll call?
Sure. Christina Heaton,
Here.
Candy Meyer, Eric Corbett, Sharon Fulcher, and Dan Tips aren't with us this evening.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. And we'll go ahead and kick it off with the division report.
Good evening, Park Board. My name is Tyler Barloggy. I'm the Senior Center Supervisor. I'm going to present to you our division report. I'm going to start off with our March benefit of recreation. Recreation and parks facilities help promote social bonds by uniting families, building cultural tolerance, and supporting individuals with disabilities and seniors. First off, with the Senior Center, we're going to go over the annual report from 2020. Some of our accomplishments for the year: we created a facility maintenance plan. That's going to help us with replacing major fitness room pieces and appliances throughout the Senior Center moving forward. We completed transportation, volunteer, and operations manuals. Also, we shifted to drive-through special events as a way to keep those going during the pandemic, and we had great success with those. Still going on with those into 2021 and looking forward as the weather gets nicer, hoping to do some outdoor things. Several new classes made their way to the Senior Center in 2020, including pickleball, improve your balance, build your strength, and ageless grace. We also started offering a Silver Sneakers program in a partnership with Tivity Health. Members with Medicare and usually age 65 plus may be eligible for this program. That could get them a free membership. During 2020, we also had several major projects completed at the Senior Center during our closure from March to October. This includes HVAC units. I believe a couple of those got done in 2020. Ceiling tiles were replaced throughout the entire building. The brick pavers at the entryway were reset, so they had kind of sunken in with the sand below them, and gravel was reset below, so they're no longer a tripping hazard. Sneeze guards and a thermal camera were installed up in our lobby at reception to help make the check-in process for our members easy and safe. Grant funding from the Council on Aging this year also brought in some new things. So we had fitness room equipment, a couple new step machines, which are very popular, came in, a recumbent bike, also a rowing machine. A public address system was replaced in the great room, and new classes came in, a couple of those I mentioned earlier, through a fall prevention grant. Here's a quick infographic kind of highlighting our year. Transportation, we did just shy of 3,000 trips in 2020. This number's down from our usual about 10,000. Active memberships at the end of the year was down to 1,259. Again, that number at the start of the year was about 1,500. And then we had almost 15,000 check-ins to the Senior Center, despite being really only open for about 5 months. These are just going to kind of show the COVID-19 impact on us this year. Like I said, trips were down about 70%, memberships 17%, and visits down about 72%. All right, that's our annual report for 2020. Now on to the division goals we set for this year. Number one was to implement the Silver Sneakers program and train our staff and volunteers on how to use the Tivity Health portal to check eligibility and get people signed up. So that one's well underway, and we're making great progress and seeing new memberships with that each month. Goal 2 is to identify potential grant funding for Senior Center capital improvement projects. Number 3, we're going to develop and administer a community survey to assist with the development of a 5-year plan for the Senior Center. Goal 4 improve marketing of senior center programs and classes. We're also going to explore potential rebranding. We want to find ways to reach a younger demographic of seniors in the community. Think that age 55 to 65 population that may be still in the workforce. Goal 5, and this is a little bit COVID dependent, but I still believe this will get done this year. We want to attend at least 3 networking events to market the senior center this year. And this is one that carried over from 2020. We're going to assist in the development of our cost recovery policy as a city and define cost recovery goals for our programs, activities, and events at the senior center. All right, so now I'm just going to highlight kind of what we've missed since December in our last park board meeting. So mostly just our drive-through events here. We had a Christmas drive-through in December, and we maxed out 150 participants. Everybody had a great time. A lot of good positive feedback from our members on both the food and everybody's costumes, dress up, yeah. Our Super Bowl drive-through lunch in January was catered by Cherry House here in Beavercreek. Again, we maxed out that. 140 was the limit we set. Just last month, we did the annual Day of Caring breakfast. Normally, it's a pancake breakfast, scrambled eggs, and it's obviously in person. We decided to go ahead with that as a drive-through event this year. Our kitchen ladies prepared a nice breakfast casserole, and we raised nearly $1,000 for their cause. The income tax service is going on in full force right now at the senior center. That began in February and will run through the middle of April. All appointments for that are filled right now. We do have a pretty lengthy waiting list as well. And upcoming, just next week, we have a St. Patrick's Day drive-through. It'll be an Irish-themed menu with corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, and bread pudding. And as of this afternoon, I think we only had about 5 spots left. And this time, I'm going to turn it over to Recreation.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Erin Harris. And I will do similar to what Tyler did for the Senior Center section, highlight some things from the annual report. So our unofficial theme was to pivot in 2020, and we transitioned to a lot of virtual and distance programs via Facebook and email. We had our Street Art Beaver Challenge back in the spring, an egg decorating contest. We moved our wellness walkers to virtual, and we also did a virtual yoga in the park, just to name a few. Some of our event highlights: we were able to put on the 4th of July fireworks show and do a virtual pre-show with Mr. C. So that was a lot of fun, and we were glad to be able to offer that to the community. And we also switched our summer concerts to a virtual series, and we did provide 3 live concerts on YouTube and right here on Channel 5 as well. And then we transitioned our fishing derby to a virtual or like self-guided, go in person, but let us know via email that you participated fishing derby. We actually had 63 young fisher girls and boys, young anglers, come out and fish with us during the about a week span of dates that they could do that, which is more than we had in person in the past. So that was great success. And then our drive-through try-a-truck, we had 200 cars. We estimated about 400 children experienced that with us. And then winter walks at Wortinger Park. We were thankful for several community partners to decorate some of the cabins at the park, and when people came out to see the decorations in December, they could vote on their favorite, and we did have 135 people who voted, and we know that park attendance to see the decorations was much higher than the number who actually got out their smartphone and used that QR code to vote. Highlighting some of our COVID impact on our summer day camp, you can see that in 2019, we offered 2 different types of camps or formats, our traditional camps and our specialty camps. And then in 2020, we just offered our traditional camp, and instead of the 455 in traditional camp, we had 233 registrations in camp in 2020. Some of that is that we did have a smaller capacity, but we also saw less demand. So there were several weeks where we weren't even full with the spots that we had. I anticipate that changing this year. Similar comparisons here. In 2019, we were able to offer both, or all 3, spring, summer, and fall soccer seasons. So those are the 3 seasons and their registration in 2019 compared to the 1 season we offered in fall in 2020. And then our adult softball leagues, similar story here. We just offered, instead of a summer and a fall season, in 2020, we just offered 1 14-week season. And in fact, while it was 56 teams compared to 63 teams, we felt like that was pretty solid for 2020. Okay, moving on to our division goals for 2021. The first goal is to partner with Beavercreek City Schools for our summer camp program. This was a goal in 2020 that COVID made impossible, so we've moved it to 21. We were thankful for their partnership in 2019, and we do have confirmation already from the schools that we will be able to host camp at Fairbrook Elementary School this summer. This is one that Park Board's involved with. It says to expand the relationship between Park Board and our partner groups. We may have to get creative depending on how our partner groups are meeting this year, but I think as we move forward, we'll be able to do this one as well. Goal number 3, you might recognize this. It's to complete the cost recovery policy and define cost recovery goals for recreation programs and facilities. This one might seem similar as well. We're working on a list of grant opportunities for recreation programs that we can know that are available to us and that might help shape what programs and events we offer, as well as help us with those cost recovery goals as they are determined. Goal 5 is to expand cultural arts programming. So at minimum, we'll have at least 1 new cultural arts event or program this year. And that's the goals. So also to provide a recap of what's been going on since December, I mentioned the winter walks at Wortinger Park, and I've got logos up there from our sponsors and partners that helped us make this a reality for the community. We did have 135 people vote on their favorite cabin, and the one that was the winner is the picture up there, and that was decorated by the Green Optimist Club. In January, we tried our first kind of scavenger hunt style activity. This was called the Snowflake Search, and we actually had 43 families participate, which we were thrilled about. This included going to 10 different parks and finding the snowflake signs, unscrambling the message, putting all 10 of those messages together into one coherent message, emailing that to us. So it was a little involved, but 43 families did it. And some of them didn't even wait for us to put all the clues out on Facebook or on our website. They just took it upon themselves to visit lots of parks until they came across them. Yeah, we were excited, and we got lots of positive comments from the community. So that's always fun. And then one winner won $50 in Park Bucks, which is like a gift certificate to anything that our department offers. We brought back this year our Do You Want to Build a Snowman Contest. We had this going for a few years, and then in the winter of the winter right before COVID, 2019 into 2020, we didn't have it because if you remember, we didn't really have any snow to build a snowman. But this year we did. 27 different photos of snowmen or snow creatures were submitted, and the picture here is the winning family and their snow monster, snow serpent. They didn't have a name for their snow creation, but they were very proud of it. And it's probably hard to make out in that photo, but the eyes were actually made of red glow sticks, so they actually would glow at night. These were all posted on Facebook, and they were the winner because they had the most votes, which were likes on Facebook. And then some things that are coming up is we've got a new partnership going on with Decoy Art. You may remember that Decoy Art Center had a brick and mortar center on Dayton Senior Road that they closed. But they've partnered with us, and we're thrilled to have this going on so that they're offering our classes at CI Beaver Hall and sometimes at Lafino Plaza if there's a conflict at CI Beaver Hall. But they've gone mobile, so you'll find Decoy Art in our community with us and in other neighboring communities. So a couple things upcoming are the Family Clay Night Light Workshop, the Spring Break Art Camp, Teen Art Club, and Budding Artists. So far, their classes have been very popular, and we're glad to be able to help them offer art to the community. And right now, we have our March Mixup going on. So the Snowflake Search was so successful, we decided to do it again. This is a very similarly structured activity where we're posting clues or hints on our Facebook and on our website, and families can go out to the parks and find those. And during this search, they're looking for signs with different birds on them. And the birds are singing a song this spring. So you have to figure out the lyrics and email those to us to enter to win in a drawing for 50 park bucks. If you're watching this or you check out this presentation, you have a hint of a park to find one at. And coming up before we know it, at the beginning of April, the first week of April, our Skyhawks youth sports programs are going to start. This photo that I share here is taken before COVID, and there will be COVID precautions taken. You can always check our website or check with us if you have any questions about those. But these programs are highly introductory, and we're glad to be able to offer them. They will be at Rotary Park for all of these in the evenings, and they're all structured in 6-week sessions. All right. With that, I'll pass it over to Zach.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron, and thank you, Tyler. I am Zach White, the Assistant Superintendent in Parks and Recreation. I'm here tonight to again build on what Aaron and Tyler have shared with you all about how much we accomplished in 2020 and really what we're looking forward to in 2021. As you see here, one of the things we're really trying to drive home this year to the community and to our staff is our mission, vision, and values that were created and reestablished and updated during our most recent Park Master Plan that was just released a little over a year and a half ago. So again, our mission, we keep saying this all the time, but we want to really drive this home, is to really deliver recreational experiences that enhance the quality of life. And our vision is building a happy and healthy community by connecting people to quality parks, engaging programs, and unique events. And then our core values of connectivity, health and wellness, inclusion, collaboration, safety, and leadership. So as we talk about the annual report, look briefly here on revenue, and you'll see in 2020 we brought in just over $2.4 million in revenue, which was really 95% of what we expected to bring in prior to COVID. So COVID really only had about a 5% impact on our revenue numbers, and you'll see the big lion's share of where our revenue comes from is from the property tax. You'll see there's a little bit of intergovernmental revenue. Really where we lacked some of the revenue was within the services, with things being shut down, programs, events, and the senior center. And I also want to highlight that we had $267,000 in grant revenue. And of that, you'll see here it's broken down where we received a $32,000 grant to put in phase 2 of the Lafino Plaza parking lot lights, which is the expansion of the parking lot. And then we also received a $234,000 grant from Greene County Council on Aging. $228,000 grant from Greene County Council on Aging. And we received a $5,000 grant for for a bike and a rower and a PA system. And then, like Tyler elaborated on earlier, a grant for fall prevention classes. And then Erin's Fishing Derby, she always gets a nice, lovely $500 grant from ODNR to restock Lafino Park Pond with new fish. So then on to the expenditures. You'll see we spent almost $2.4 million, which is a 9.5% reduction in projected expenses from what we started out at the beginning of the year. Most of that came on the heels of not having seasonal staff. When COVID hit, that was right when we were getting ready to bring on all of our seasonal staff. We went on into a hiring freeze, and when we were able to start bringing staff back, a lot of people, I think, were afraid to go out and work, and we were still not bringing on a full staff. So most of our expenditure reduction was in seasonal staffing. You'll see that personnel costs account for 50% of our expenditures, and you'll see within Parks, Recreation, and Culture, we have 12 full-time staff members and 5 part-time staff members. So in 2020, what did we accomplish in your parks? We accomplished quite a bit. We completed an ADA accessibility assessment of all park facilities, and that's a program where we will, over the next several years, really work on upgrading and updating all of our parks and facilities to be more ADA compliant. We repaved the road within Rotary Park, and we took advantage of the COVID shutdown and the parks being slow at first to get that accomplished. That was a daunting task at first, but it really benefited in our favor for that one project. We also installed a new floating dock at Dominic Lafino Park, and we made playground improvements at Walnut Grove, Summerfield, Hunters Ridge, and Gershbacher Parks. We developed new hiking trails at Fox Run Park, Dominic Lafino Park, and reestablished some trails at Overlook Reserve. We installed 17 birdhouses within various parks, replaced 6 dugouts at Rotary Park, installed some new landscaping at CI Beaver, and also replaced a footbridge leading back into the woods at CI Beaver. To continue on, we planted an additional 43 trees within our park system, purchased an 11-foot large area mower to assist our mowing crews. That larger mower helps our staff get around a lot faster to be able to mow our parks more efficiently and get around to them more frequently. We seal-coated parking lots at the Senior Center, Shout Park, Vergalito, Alpha Mill, Fifth Third Gateway, and Grange Hall Bike Access. We replaced kiosks that we post all kinds of information on at Fifth Third Gateway and Grange Hall Bike Access. And we contracted with MSP Design to begin rebuilding the Tobiaszimmer Barn at Wardinger Park. And just an update on that, we're finalizing the bid documents and construction documents with the architect now and hope to have that out for bid within the next several weeks. So hopefully a lot of movement on that project coming soon. And also in 2020, we began our CAPRA accreditation process, and our site visit is in April. So it's just a few short weeks away. And finally, we worked on developing our Parks Operation Manual and standard operating procedures within Parks and Parks Maintenance. As we look forward to this year, we're excited for a lot of fun projects and new improvements. One of the biggest ones of the year is installing a new playground at Grangeview Acres Park. This is currently our oldest playground. It's about 21 years old. So we just recently sent out a post on Facebook for some of the residents to take a look at the proposed playground. We're taking into consideration all of their comments, and then really work to get that installed throughout the spring or early summer and have that out there, a new fun playground for them to play with. Second goal is to replace the pedestrian bridge at Dominic Lafino Park. Again, this bridge is just up there in age. We are actually making the bridge a little bit wider and making it out of newer material, so it shouldn't rot, it should last longer, and we'll be able to get mowers and a utility cart across that bridge as well. So it'll make it much easier for our staff. Third goal is to replace the Tobiaszimmer Barn at Wardinger Park. And you will see that once construction starts on that, it's going to be a replica of the existing barn. And we're still working with the architect to try to take a lot of the original beams from the barn and incorporate that into the new barn. So they won't be able to be structural most likely, but they will be able to be there so that people can still see parts of the old barn. Fourth goal is to begin creating hiking trails at Cinnamon Ridge Park. We hope to work with the neighborhood and the community surrounding Cinnamon Ridge to discuss what they would like to see within that park and creating some hiking trails with them and really work on them to develop that. Currently, there's some small trails that are back there, but they're relatively unmaintained, and we just want to work with them to redevelop that. And the fifth goal, this will be a huge one, is to complete the process of accreditation through CAPRA. Again, our site visit is scheduled for the week of April 19th through the 23rd. It is going to be a virtual site visit, which is going to be a different way of doing it, but we're still excited. And we hope to share all the good news following that week that we are an accredited agency. So we've put a lot of work into that. Sixth goal is to work with the Beavercreek Wetlands Association to complete phase 1 of the Spotted Turtle Trail. We've been working with them. One of the trailheads is at Rotary Park. We're going to be installing a kiosk similar to what you see here. That will be near the playground at Rotary Park, near the shelter in the back. And Rotary Park, like I said, will be a trailhead, and it's going to be a 7-phase project that the wetlands are working on. Phase 1 starts at Rotary Park and Phillips Park, and it will go north all the way to Pearls Fen and Fairborn. So there was recently an article in the Dayton Daily News regarding this project, and they've got a lot of great publicity, and it's a fantastic project they have planned. Goal 7 is to replace 12 additional dugouts at Rotary Park with revenue generated from our field user fee. Again, that was a fee that we established in the year 2020. We charge $75 per team on all of our tournaments that we have. Most of those teams coming in for the tournaments are from out of town, so this is a way to generate revenue from out of town users of the parks, and all of that revenue goes right back into athletic field improvements, whether that be dugouts or backstops, bleachers, or the diamonds themselves. Goal 8 is to generate internal weekly task reports for all division managers, and this is something we started right at the beginning of the year. And it's a simple one, or as the season gets longer, it might be 2 pages, but just some highlights of what each section or each division is working on within Parks and Recreation. So it is shared with all of our full-time and part-time staff within Parks and Recreation. That way everybody kind of knows what's going on, and so our parks maintenance staff knows what's going on at the senior center and vice versa. Goal 9 is to begin the ADA transition plan. Again, this is a several-year plan to upgrade a lot of our parks and our facilities. Some of the initial projects might just include changing grab bar heights, adjusting mirrors, working on handicap parking spots. But really, we have a whole transition plan to establish, and I believe it's going to take some time, but we're dedicated to making all of those upgrades. Goal 10 is to create a volunteer project list for community organizations, Eagle Scouts, and Girl Scouts. I coordinate all of the volunteer projects, and it's great. I've seen an overwhelming response of volunteer groups wanting to help out this year. We had a lot lined up last year, and I think with COVID, a lot of them, they couldn't really do anything. So this year, we have a lot of organizations and groups that really want to get involved and give back to their parks. So if you are interested in doing that, please send an email to parks@beavercreekohio.gov, and I'd be happy to work with you. Goal 11 is to train our staff more in depth with asset essentials and utilizing the cost center feature. So within our work order management software, we have the ability to track labor costs and parts costs and all of that. And so we want to do a little bit more thorough job of really knowing the true cost of performing maintenance and tracking project costs. Our staff is really adopting technology quite well. It's been a challenge over the last couple of years, but it's really coming along well. And I've seen some great strides within our staff to do that. Goal 12 is to plant 1 acre of wildflower pollinator areas. The seed for that just came in today, and it is slated to be planted at Fifth Third Gateway. So we will be making some parking lot improvements, which is a carryover project from last year. The extension of the parking lot where it's gravel will be cleaned up a little bit, made a little bit smaller, and we'll have about 1 acre of wildflowers planted along there, which hopefully all the users of Creekside Trail will be able to enjoy. And the final goal is goal 13, to plant additional 30 trees within various parks this year. So again, show our commitment to continue to add trees within our parks and really try to work, through all the parks, but especially since we were impacted so drastically from the tornado. And the final thing I want to share is that we are hiring. So if you or anybody that you know are interested in a job, whether that be seasonal, part-time, or even at times full-time, please visit beavercreekohio.gov. Check out all of our job postings. You can apply right online. You will also see some new signs going out within our parks here within the next week, where that'll have a QR code and the web address for applying for seasonal jobs. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
I don't think I have any. Thank you. Very thorough tonight. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Okay, since we don't have any action items, I just want to thank you guys for pulling this all together for me. I appreciate that. I know that everybody else, I'm sure, is disappointed that they couldn't make it tonight. But thank you very much, and I look forward to a great spring and summer season in the parks. Thank you. And I will adjourn. All right, thank you.